definitely want to tap in with that. So without further ado, man, let's go. Let's get into it, bro. So let's start with the good. What's your gut telling you? First and foremost, if you want to set up the fans for whatever you're feeling, man. But top 3 to 5 things in the Raiders season that you feel are gonna go good in your opinion.
I'll give 3 just because we haven't hit training camp yet. You know, when the pads come on, that's when we get to know the real. So I'll give 3.
100%.
I'll start off with an easy one. And this is one that you can potentially put your money on responsibly, of course.
Okay.
But Ashton Jeanty winning Offensive Rookie of the Year
could
be a near lock. 12 to 1,300 rushing yards, close to maybe 1,500 scrimmage yards. He's going to be the lead running back in that backfield. We already know that. Raheem Mostert didn't move the needle for me. Pete Carroll seems to believe in him, though. But if you look at Raheem Mostert's history, he has a history of injuries, including last year. So he's been known to get banged up. Ashton Jeanty is going to get a ton of touches. He's going to get a ton of work. And Chip Kelly knows how to design a strong rushing attack. He's done it since he's went back to college. UCLA, Ohio State had Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins last year. Ashton Jeanty is going to eat. I know people are down him because he's coming from the Mountain West Conference. It is what it is. A good player is a good football player, whether he's coming from an FBS powerhouse, a underrated program, an FCS program. You can find good players anywhere in college, and Ashton Jeanty is one of those guys. Lock him in for 12 to 1,300 yards and Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay. So that's the first one. Now, we'll caveat with this because, during the draft time, we're going back and forth. Now, I don't particularly remember, but was this your choice? This is one of your choices for the Raiders personally when they were going into the draft process and saying, who we going to draft?
Right. So initially I had Armand Membu and Shedeur Sanders. Still believe Shedeur Sanders could be a pretty good pro, by the way. But
you got to tell it here on this show, man. He was campaigning.
Good. They got to put that in there. But once I saw Ashton Jeanty with the black, he had the footwear, he had the black shoes with it looked like black and silver.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I know where this is going. So whether you were on the Ashton Jeanty wagon for him to go at 6 or not, it is what it is. We're here now with him in the backfield. A lot of people called him potentially a generational player. I would slow down with that one.
Yeah.
Generational has been thrown around, transcended generational, whatever you want to say.
In this new wave, man, they throw that word around too loose, in my opinion, man. They're way too loose.
Yeah, exactly. But whatever the case may be, wherever you were on Ashton Jeanty, you can't deny that he was a phenomenal college football player. I believe runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. And as long as the Raiders' offensive line is decent, now I'll get to that in a moment with Brendan Carroll being the offensive line coach. But as long as the offensive line is decent, he can be able to find some room to run and gash some defenses this year.
See, and that was, before we move on to the next one, that was kind of my issue with it. It was never like, okay, can he be as talented? It's more along the lines of saying, well, this offensive line still has question marks on it, right? I think, to me personally, we still going into the training camp not knowing who's starting at guard, really. Like, we still kind of got both sides, to be honest. And I'm even more worried because it seems like they just gave Alex Kappa that right guard spot. It don't even look like they really having him compete for anything. So I'm just like, all right, bro, well, we still don't know what's going on there. So that was my only caveat. They have to play well for this to unfold, though, for him to play Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be somewhat decent. I think I would say 60% of the line, 3/5 of the line, I feel pretty good about. There are 2 spots there we'll get to in a moment that I'm a little sticky on, though.
I'm right with you. It's 3/5. I know exactly which ones we on. But so we go here. So first, good. Ashton Jeanty wins Rookie of the Year. Man, you get he's gonna be in the running. Lock that in. And if he is, that does spell some good things for the season. At least it's better football. So that's the first one, right? You say you got 3 for us. What's number 2?
The other one is pretty easy as well. Jackson Powers-Johnson being one of the most improved players from year 1 to year 2, his rookie year to his second year. Jackson Powers-Johnson is going to be able to settle in at center, I believe, this year. It seems like all signs are pointing to him being the center. Doesn't seem to be much of a competition there. I love the story he told when he was on Max Crosby's The Rush podcast when Andre James went down last year. And he told the coaching staff, I'm starting at center. I won the Remington Trophy Award. I'm that guy. I'm going to be the starting center. You need that mentality. Your
Yes.
offensive line
Yes.
group. Colton Miller, though he is the older statesman, has been there quite a while, not very vocal, more of a lead by example guy. Jackson Powers Johnson seems like the type he's going to get in your face. He's going to tell you what's what. And he could be eventually, in a short term, be the leader of that group.
Yep. And it's always nice to have, a guy like Colton Miller who is steady, reliable in many instances, right? But I that fire, you know what I mean? I would primarily like that to come from my center, if I'm being honest. And the fact that the Raiders have that as the main crux, you would say, of that offensive line for years to come, because to me, he's the future. You already know what time it is. Colton is, I'm not saying he's on his way out, but it's getting, we're getting there. It's getting to that point. So I completely agree with you. I think he does take that year 2 leap. For me, I may be on the limb, but I said Pro Bowl leap this year for him.
I can see it. I'm not going to push back on that one. I don't think it's out of the realm for him. Remember, he was at one point the best center in college football.
100%.
So why can't he take that leap in his second year now that he's going to be settled into a position? Because remember, last year he played both guard spots and he played center. So he was moving around a bit, and he missed a chunk of OTAs as well. So he missed some valuable practice time as a rookie. So now he's fully healthy. He's in one position. He's already vocal. It's all there for him to take that big leap, that Pro Bowl leap, as you said.
Yeah, and then not even to mention the work that we've seen documented this offseason with Max Crosby. The fact he decides to take that on himself, and there's another player that if you get into it, we'll get into that too. But the fact that the offensive player says, okay, I want to go ahead and work with a defensive player, but I just know he's at least top 5 in his position. I feel like that's going to rub off tremendously coming on this season, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
So we got 2, right? We got JPJ, year 2 leap. We got Ashton Genty, rookie of the year, which, hey, it's spelling very well for my main prediction. I'm gonna wait till your third one, but I've said that the offense is gonna be better than the defense this year. That's been my opinion. So as looking at your predictions right here so far, it's looking good.
So I actually, funny, I did a show on Bleacher Report Live, and I asked, do you have high expectations for the offense or defense? And most of the people, I would say 80% of the people said offense. I was kind of surprised because you do have the continuity on the defense side of the ball with Patrick Graham being there. I know Pete Carroll's influence is going to change things, tweak things a little bit. But I was kind of surprised because the offense is young. But I do like the potential they have several spots. There are going to be some rookies. There are going to be some second-year guys in big roles, and I think they'll be able to answer the call on that.
And I think, like, for me too, it's the confidence in coaching. So like, for example, this is the first year really in a while for me that I feel like we can play Kansas City and all these and not be severely outcoached going into the game. You know what I mean? So like this time going forward, I actually feel there's a plan, there's a scheme, there's an identity being formed. So now I can kind of, and not saying Patrick Graham doesn't have that, but there are a lot of just tools on this offense that can make it real explosive if things fall into place for me.
Yep. I agree with you on that one.
So we got 2, right? We got 2. What's 3, man? Let's hear it.
So let's go to the defensive side of the ball, even though I'm not as high on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
And it's one of the Raiders, it's the Raiders' most recent notable pickup, Jermaine Pratt. I think Jermaine Pratt is going to solidify the middle of that defense. Even though there are some parts of the defense that I have major concerns with, Jermaine Pratt is going to have guys lined up in the right spot. He's going to take on a leadership role in that defense, and that's what you need at the middle linebacker spot. He's going to be one of their better defenders. I remember when they signed him, there were people out there who pulled up PFF grades. Oh, but his PFF grade, his coverage PFF grade isn't that great. But mind you, they cried over Robert Spillane going to New England, and Jermaine Pratt had a better coverage PFF grade than Robert Spillane last year.
100%.
Now, I'm not one that bases all my opinions on PFF grades because grades are subjective. It's someone's opinion. I go based on what I've seen. And I've seen Jermaine Pratt solidify that linebacker position for the Cincinnati Bengals. It was a bad defense last year overall, but they changed their defensive coordinator, got rid of Lou Anarumo, made some tweaks there. It wasn't Jermaine Pratt's fault. And I remember doing this during my Bleacher Report Live. Between, I believe, his third and fourth year, or second and third year, he made a major leap, major improvement in coverage. He went from allowing over 100 in passer rating to allowing a below an 85, I believe. So there you have your inside linebacker who's got the leadership skills from Cincinnati. He was a captain on that Cincinnati Bengals defense. He's improved in coverage, and he's healthy. He barely misses any time. I believe he's missed 2 games in the last 3 years. So that's the guy consistent, and he's going to be able to solidify that defense.
I fully agree because I knew he was that missing piece on that linebacker unit. And knowing what he can do, right? And people will look at the PFF and you say whatever it is, right? But if I watch his film, right, which I just recently did, you're like, there's no linebacker on this roster that can do what he can do in coverage right now. Zero. I don't. So now we can hope and we can pray, right, that one of them ends up taking that leap. But at the end of the day, bro, we know right now, as it stands, Jermaine Pratt is better in the things that we are weak at the linebacker unit, which was I was very scared in coverage going into the season if we didn't roll or get him. I was very scared. So my thing though with him is I know sometimes I saw a little bit of lack in the run game, right? That'd be the thing that kind of scares me with him. But to your point, right? Just few short years ago, you're looking at probably what 2022, I believe he's sitting with 6 pass deflections, and then 2024 you sit with 10. So then at that point, bro, you're seeing a trend of getting your hands on a football, and it's about 3 straight years of 2 or more interceptions. So at that point, you can see the trend and consistency of saying he's getting his hands on the football, he's around it. So I'm 100% with you with this one. I think he can become a key. He just scared me in run defense sometimes. That's it.
Yeah, and the Raiders are going to have to do their job up front of the defensive line to help him out there, and that's what it should be. Your defensive line is obviously the first line of defense against the run, and then your linebacker is supposed to be able to clean that up and supplement. So we'll hope that there's some balance.